In the vast tapestry of Indian culture, where colors burst forth like a monsoon downpour and traditions weave intricate patterns, there lies a unique vein of humor that is as rich and diverse as the country itself. Indian comedy, much like the Indian palate, is a blend of spicy, sweet, and sometimes a little bit sour. It's a reflection of our society, our quirks, and our everyday absurdities. So, let's dive into this world of Indian comedy and cultural satire, shall we? Now, if you've ever experienced an Indian wedding, you know it's a spectacle unlike any other. It's like a 3-day-long Bollywood film, complete with melodrama, dance numbers, and a cast of characters that would put any sitcom to shame. You've got the bride and groom, of course, but then there's the auntie who hasn't seen the groom's family in 20 years, but insists on giving unsolicited advice. Beta, you should really consider a career in engineering. Look at your cousin, he's doing so well. Nushi, this auntie has a PhD in nosiness and a black belt in matchmaking. And let's not forget the food. Indian weddings are a culinary marathon. You start with starters, then move on to the main course. And by the time you reach dessert, you're questioning all your life choices. There's always someone who will insist you try the authentic dishes, even if you have no idea what's in them. Try the paneer tikka. It's made with a secret family recipe. What's the secret? 1,000 calories and a sprinkle of regret, that's what. Speaking of food, let's talk about the quintessential Indian family meal. You know the scene. Everyone gathers around the table, and the first thing you hear is, "Eat more, beta!" It's a universal command that transcends age, gender, and even dietary restrictions. You could be a vegan, gluten-free, and allergic to peanuts, but somehow, that plate of ghee-laden biryani is going to find its way to you, and you'll be expected to devour it like it's the last meal on earth. "A little more won't hurt you," they say as you nod, stuffing your face, while internally screaming, "Yes, it will!" Then there's the classic Indian parent dynamic, which is a comedy goldmine. You have the dad who believes that every problem in life can be solved with a good dose of logic, and the mom who believes that every problem can be solved with a good dose of love and a side of guilt. Why can't you be more like your cousin? He's a doctor. It's like a never-ending competition where the prize is approval and a lifetime supply of emotional baggage. And let's not overlook the world of Indian cinema, where comedy and satire often collide in the most unexpected ways. Bollywood has a unique ability to take the most mundane situations and turn them into epic dramas. You could be watching a film about a family trying to save their ancestral home, and somehow, it spirals into a love triangle, a dance-off, and a villain who's plotting world domination. It's a roller coaster of emotions, where laughter and tears coexist like old friends who can't decide whether to hug or fight. But what's fascinating is how Indian comedians have started to carve out their own space in this landscape. They're taking the everyday absurdities of life and turning them into relatable narratives. Take, for instance, the phenomenon of stand-up comedy in India. It's like a breath of fresh air in a world that often feels stifled by tradition. Comedians are tackling topics that were once taboo, from relationships to mental health, and they're doing it with a humor that resonates deeply with audiences. What's even more interesting is the way these comedians use cultural satire to challenge societal norms. They hold a mirror to our faces, making us laugh while simultaneously making us think. It's a delicate balance, but when done right, it can be transformative. They poke fun at the absurdities of arranged marriages, the pressure to conform, and the often ridiculous expectations placed on individuals by society. Why is it that our parents think we can't find love on our own? I mean, have they seen our dating apps? Social media has also played a significant role in shaping the landscape of Indian comedy. Platforms like YouTube have given rise to a new generation of comedians who are not afraid to push boundaries. They're using memes, skits, and relatable content to connect with a younger audience. It's a revolution of sorts, where humor becomes a tool for social commentary. Let's talk about memes for a moment. Indian meme culture is a phenomenon in its own right. It's like a digital playground where humor knows no bounds. You could be scrolling through your feed and suddenly come across a meme that perfectly encapsulates your daily struggle. Whether it's dealing with your boss, navigating family expectations, or just surviving the chaos of city life. When you finally sit down to relax, but your mom calls to ask why you're still single. It's the kind of humor that brings people together, creating a sense of camaraderie in our shared experiences. And then there are the viral videos that seem to pop up out of nowhere. One moment you're watching a cat video, and the next, you're knee-deep in a hilarious skit about the trials and tribulations of being an Indian student. Why do we have to study for exams like it's a matter of life and death? I mean, I'm pretty sure I won't need to know the capital of Mongolia in my everyday life. As we navigate through this comedic landscape, it's essential to recognize the power of laughter. Humor has a unique way of breaking down barriers and fostering understanding. It allows us to confront uncomfortable truths while still managing to smile. In a country as diverse as India, where languages, cultures, and traditions collide, humor becomes a universal language that transcends differences. Now, let's not forget the role of satire in Indian comedy. It's an art form that goes beyond mere laughter. It's a critique of society, politics, and everything in between. Comedians often use satire to shine a light on the absurdities of our political landscape. Why is it that politicians are like bad Wi-Fi connections? You can never rely on them when you need them the most. It's a clever way to address issues that might otherwise be swept under the rug, all while keeping the audience entertained. In a world where misinformation spreads like wildfire, satire becomes a tool for truth. It challenges the status quo, encourages critical thinking, and inspires change. Comedians have the ability to make us question our beliefs, to hold those in power accountable, and to remind us not to take life too seriously. As we wrap up this exploration of Indian comedy and cultural satire, it's essential to recognize the impact it has on our lives. Laughter is not just a reaction, it's a form of resistance. It's a way to cope with the chaos of life, to find joy in the mundane, and to connect with others on a deeper level. So, the next time you find yourself in an awkward family gathering, or you're scrolling through memes that hit a little too close to home, remember that you're not alone. We're all navigating this beautifully chaotic journey together, armed with humor and a healthy dose of satire. In the end, laughter is what binds us, transcending boundaries and reminding us of our shared humanity. And as we continue to embrace the absurdities of life, let's celebrate the comedians who dare to make us laugh, the satirists who challenge our perspectives, and the everyday moments that remind us that sometimes all we need is a good laugh to make it through another day.